Have you ever felt as though a part of your light was taken away, stolen in silence, leaving a quiet ache inside you? Maybe it was a lost opportunity, a broken relationship, or a dream that seemed to slip through your fingers. Yet deep down, there's a gentle knowing that what was taken is not gone forever, that the light you thought was lost is beginning to return. I remember a moment with my own grandmother, sitting beside her on a calm afternoon, when she shared a simple truth. Sometimes, the darkest nights are the ones that prepare us for the brightest dawns. At the time, I thought it was just a comforting saying, but over the years I've come to understand that there is profound wisdom in those words. Today, Archangel Michael brings a message just for you. The light that was once stolen, the blessings that were held back, are now flowing back into your life. It may not come with fanfare or noise, but it is sure and steady, like the sunrise after a long night. This is the promise of divine justice and restoration, a chance to reclaim what is rightfully yours. So, I invite you to lean in, to listen with your heart, and to open yourself to the hope that is stirring. Because this is more than a message, it's an invitation to step into a new chapter, where your light shines brighter than ever before. Let's begin this journey together. There is a quiet strength in knowing that, no matter how much light seems to have been taken from you, it was never truly lost. It may have been hidden, dimmed by circumstances, or clouded by pain, but it has always been waiting to return. That light is a part of who you are, and Archangel Michael's message reminds us that it is being restored, slowly but surely. I think of a man named Robert who spent years feeling defeated after losing a job he loved. He told me how the disappointment weighed on him, casting shadows over his confidence and dreams. Yet, even in those dark times, Robert held on to a small spark, hope that things could change. And slowly, opportunities began to appear. A friend recommended him for a new position. A long-lost passion reignited. Each small step was a return of his light. Robert's story shows us that restoration isn't about sudden miracles. It's about the gentle unfolding of grace over time. The light you think was stolen is being returned in pieces through moments of healing, courage, and faith. The lesson here is to remain patient and open to those moments. Trust that every small step forward is part of the light coming back to you. As we continue, we will explore how to recognize these signs and welcome the fullness of your restored light. Archangel Michael's words carry a weight of divine assurance, us reminder that your name is known and honored in the highest places. It's not just a comforting thought, but a powerful truth. You have been chosen, and your light is recognized beyond what eyes can see. I remember a woman named Linda who spent much of her life feeling overlooked and uncertain of her place in the world. She often wondered if her struggles meant she was somehow forgotten. One day, during a quiet moment of reflection, she felt a shift, a deep knowing that she was seen and valued in a way that transcended earthly recognition. That shift gave Linda the courage to pursue dreams she had long set aside. She began volunteering, reconnecting with old passions, and opening herself to new possibilities. Opportunities began to flow in, seemingly out of nowhere, as if her name was being called in places she could not yet reach. Linda's journey reminds us that being chosen is not about grandeur or fame. It's about the quiet confidence that your path is part of a divine plan. The lesson here is to trust in that plan even when the path is unclear. As we move forward, let's uncover the subtle signs that this divine calling is guiding you back to your fullest light. Signs that you've likely been seeing all along. Have you ever noticed those little moments when something feels just a bit off, or maybe a bit magical? Like seeing the same number repeatedly, hearing a song at just the right time, or having a dream that sticks with you long after waking. These moments aren't random. They are gentle signs from the universe reminding you that you're on the right path. I think of my friend Susan, who for weeks kept noticing the number 1111 everywhere she went, on clocks, receipts, and license plates. At first, she shrugged it off, but soon she felt an undeniable pull. Like those numbers were a message just for her. Around the same time, she was offered a new job opportunity, something she had been quietly hoping for, but never fully believed would come. Susan's experience is a beautiful example of how the universe communicates through subtle, repeated signs that we often overlook. The lesson here is simple: stay open and pay attention to these signs. They are the whispers of Archangel Michael, guiding your light back to you. As we continue this journey, we'll explore how these small signs can become the roadmap leading you through your healing and into the full return of the light that was once dimmed. In the fast-paced world we live in, silence often feels like emptiness, but the truth is, silence is a sacred space, a fertile ground where healing takes root and light begins to grow again. It's in the quiet moments, away from the noise and distractions, that your soul can hear the gentle call of restoration. I remember my Aunt Margaret, who after a lifetime of hard work and loss, found herself feeling empty and uncertain about what came next. Instead of rushing into the next thing, she started spending time each morning in quiet reflection. She would sit by the window with a cup of tea, simply breathing and listening. Slowly, that silence became her sanctuary, a place where she reconnected with herself and the deeper truths of her journey. Margaret's story reminds us that healing isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's the softest, most unassuming moments that hold the greatest power. The lesson here is to embrace the silence, not as a void, but as a space where your light can be rekindled. As we move on, we'll discuss the importance of patience and how trusting this quiet process is key to allowing the light, once stolen, to return fully to you. Doubt is a silent shadow that creeps into even the brightest moments. It whispers that you're not worthy, that it's too late, or that the light you once had is gone forever. But doubt is just that, a whisper, not the truth. I think of my friend George, who spent years hesitating to pursue his passion for writing because he believed he was too old to start something new. Every time he thought about submitting a story or sharing his work, the voice of doubt grew louder, telling him it wasn't worth the effort. One day, encouraged by a close friend, George sent a short story to a local magazine. To his surprise, it was accepted. That small success sparked a journey he never imagined, bringing back a light he thought he had lost. Doubt almost stole my dream, he said, but the moment I pushed past it, I found my way home. George's story is a gentle reminder that doubt only holds power if you let it. The lesson here is to recognize those quiet voices for what they are, not truths, but fears that can be overcome. As we continue, let's explore the support and guidance you have, visible and invisible, that helps you step beyond doubt and reclaim the light meant for you. Sometimes, the strongest support we receive comes not from the people around us, but from the unseen hands of those who have loved us before, our ancestors, guardians, and angels watching over us. Their prayers, hopes, and love form an invisible shield, guiding and protecting us as we walk our path. I remember my grandmother telling me stories about her own mother, whose quiet strength helped carry their family through tough times. Though long gone, her spirit seemed to linger, offering comfort and courage when my grandmother faced her own challenges. That legacy of love and resilience gave her the strength to keep moving forward, even when the road was hard. This ancestral support is part of the message Archangel Michael brings today. You are never truly alone. The light that's returning to you has been nurtured by generations before, and the divine is walking beside you now, helping to lift the weight of old wounds. The lesson here is to open your heart to that unseen support. Trust that you are held, carried, and loved beyond what the eye can see. As we move forward, we'll explore how the pain you've carried can be transformed through this divine connection, turning wounds into doorways of healing. It's surprising how often the very moments that break us become the ones that build us anew. Betrayal, loss, and hardship may feel like endings, but in truth, they are sometimes the universe's way of opening a door we never knew existed. I think of my friend Maria, who was deeply hurt when a close partnership she trusted fell apart. For months, she felt lost and uncertain, unsure if she could ever trust again. But in that painful space, she rediscovered her own strength and passion for helping others heal. She began volunteering at a local shelter and eventually started her own small counseling practice, offering support to those who had faced similar wounds. Maria's journey shows us that pain is not the final chapter. Instead, it can be the catalyst for transformation, a chance to step into a new version of yourself that you might never have met otherwise. The lesson here is that the wounds we carry are not barriers, they are gateways. Archangel Michael's message reminds us that healing often begins where the hurt seems deepest. As we continue, let's explore how releasing old pain can free you to receive the light and blessings that have always been waiting for you. The heaviest chains we carry are often the ones we place upon ourselves: doubt, fear, and the belief that we are not deserving of healing or happiness. These invisible barriers can keep us locked in the past, preventing the light from fully returning to us. I remember a dear friend, James, who for years convinced himself that starting over was impossible. After losing his longtime job and facing family struggles, he felt trapped by his own thoughts. I told myself I was too old, that my best days were behind me, he shared. But a small spark inside him refused to be extinguished. One day, encouraged by a simple phrase he heard in a sermon, James began to challenge those beliefs. He started attending community classes, reconnecting with old friends, and slowly rebuilding his confidence. Each step chipped away at the chains he thought he could never break. James's story teaches us that the real curse is not what others have done to us, but the limitations we accept for ourselves. Archangel Michael's message is clear: you are worthy of healing, deserving of light, and capable of reclaiming your joy. As we move forward, let's learn to recognize the subtle signs, the gentle nudges from the universe that guide us past these inner barriers toward the full return of our light. Life has a gentle way of sending us messages when we're ready to listen, subtle signs that the universe is guiding us toward something new. These can be repeating numbers on a clock, a song that plays at just the right moment, or even a dream that lingers long after waking. They're not random, they're the language of the divine. I remember my neighbor Helen, who kept seeing the number 333 everywhere, in her mailbox, on receipts, even in license plates as she drove. At first, she thought it was coincidence, but as the occurrences increased, she felt a quiet reassurance, a sign that something was shifting in her life. Soon after, Helen found herself presented with an opportunity to pursue a passion she had long set aside. She told me, those numbers felt like a gentle tap on my shoulder, telling me it was okay to believe. Helen's story reminds us that when we pay attention to these small signs, they become powerful guides. The lesson here is to stay open and curious, trusting that these whispers are leading you to the healing and light that are returning to you. As we continue, we will explore how the blessings coming your way often arrive quietly, growing steadily into the abundant life you deserve. Blessings don't always announce themselves with fanfare or fireworks. Often, they arrive softly, like a gentle stream, quietly filling a dry riverbed, gradually restoring life and hope. This quiet overflow is the kind of abundance that transforms from the inside out. I think of my Uncle John, a humble man who worked tirelessly as a mechanic. He never sought recognition or applause, but his kindness and dedication left a mark on everyone around him. In his retirement, neighbors and friends would stop by, bringing gifts or sharing stories of how his quiet support had changed their lives. John's blessing wasn't measured in wealth, but in the deep connections and respect he'd quietly built over the years. His story reminds us that true abundance isn't always loud or flashy. Sometimes, the richest blessings are the ones that fill your heart with peace and your days with purpose. The lesson here is to embrace the quiet overflow. Trust that the light returning to you is steady and strong, even if it doesn't come with noise. As we approach the close of our journey together, let's reflect on how your name, spoken in heaven, is the key to stepping fully into this new chapter of healing and hope. As we reach the final part of our journey, I want to leave you with this gentle truth. Your name has been spoken in heaven long before you ever doubted yourself. That sacred calling isn't a fleeting moment, it's a lifelong promise, waiting patiently for you to embrace it. I remember a dear friend, Grace, who spent years feeling unseen and unsure of her path. One quiet evening, she felt an overwhelming peace wash over her, a knowing that she was exactly where she needed to be. That moment didn't come with fireworks or grand signs, just a steady certainty that she was chosen and loved beyond measure. Grace's story reminds us that the final step into healing and restoration isn't about rushing or striving. It's about opening your heart to the peace that comes from knowing you are seen, valued, and deeply cherished. The lesson here is simple. When your name is spoken in heaven, no darkness can dim your light. The signs you've noticed, the healing that's unfolding, they're all part of a greater story, written just for you. So as you step forward now, take that quiet strength with you. Walk confidently through the door that's been waiting for you all along. Your light is returning, your story is unfolding, and the best is yet to come.